In a town where time flowed normally, there was one old house where no clock had ever ticked. One day, a curious child snuck inside. I've heard stories about that house since I was little. People say if you step foot inside, time stops. That's why all the clocks in that house are frozen. It's also why the house is always empty, because everyone who enters gets trapped forever. One day I got tired of hearing people talk about this place, so I decided to sneak in myself. I found it at the end of a dirt road deep in the woods. The paint was peeling off the wooden walls. Ivy grew out of the chimney, and when I knocked on the door, it swung open on its own, like it was inviting me to come inside. At first I thought it would be fun to run around the house and hide from my parents, but after a few minutes, the fun started to wear off. I walked into the living room, which had a fireplace, couch, and 2 armchairs facing each other. Between them sat a low table with a single candle on it, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't see anything else. It was as if all the shadows in the house had been sucked away. Then I heard a voice. "Why are you here?" I jumped and turned around, but whoever said that was still hidden in the darkness. "Who's there?" I called out. There was no reply, so I went back to looking around. As my eyes adjusted to the dim light, I could make out an old woman sitting in one of the armchairs. She was hunched forward with her hands resting on the table between them. "Hello," I said, trying to sound brave. The woman didn't respond. I walked over and peered at her face. Her skin was so wrinkled it looked like tissue paper. Her eyes were closed and she had no eyelashes or eyebrows. I couldn't tell if she was dead or alive. I reached out and poked her shoulder. Then I screamed and pulled my hand back. Her entire body was covered in warts, and when she opened her eyes, they glowed red in the candlelight. "How dare you intrude upon my home and then touch me without asking?" she shrieked. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I just wanted to ask what happened to you." The woman narrowed her eyes. "You shouldn't be prying, child, but I had so many questions. How did you get here? What happened to your family? Why does time stop in this house? Where are all the clocks?" The woman remained silent for a moment before replying. "All the answers you seek can be found in the clocks, child. If you can get them ticking once more, then you shall know all that you seek." So that's what I did. After so many years of silence, it seemed only right that I should be the one to end it. I asked her, "Will you show me where the clocks are?" She nodded slowly, then beckoned with a finger for me to wait a moment. The woman stood up, moved to the fireplace and struck a match. I leaned closer, bracing myself for an answer. Then she dropped the match and crushed it under her foot. "Time has stopped, child. You cannot rush what is beyond mortal comprehension." "Okay, I guess I can wait." I sat down on the floor and crossed my legs, then waited patiently until she spoke again. Eventually, she said, "Very well, child. Follow me." We walked through a door hidden behind a bookcase. Beyond it lay a long hallway. The woman shuffled slowly down it until we reached a staircase at the far end. We climbed the stairs together until we reached a landing outside a pair of double doors. On the wall beside them hung a large ornate clock. Its hands were frozen at 10:10. The woman tapped it with her cane. "You see, child, time stops here. Outside these doors lies my past. But if you want to know what happened to me, then enter freely." She stepped aside and bowed her head, allowing me to walk through first. I hesitated, then took a deep breath before pushing the doors open. Inside was a nursery painted in soft pastel colors. There was a rocking horse in the corner, a crib by the window, a small table and chairs, a bookshelf, and a grandfather clock in the far corner. Its pendulum had long since stopped swinging. The woman approached the bookshelf and ran her fingers over the spines of the storybooks. "You see, child, when I was young, my father built this house for me and my mother. Back then, time passed like it does in every other house. But one day I received a present from my godmother, a magic lamp. When I rubbed it, a genie appeared and offered me 3 wishes. I wished for endless wealth so my family wouldn't have to worry about money anymore. But when my wish was granted, I realized it wasn't what I really wanted. So I wished for all the pain in the world to be taken away. And the last thing I remember is my mother screaming as she aged dramatically and withered away from grief. I never meant for that to happen. I wish I could take it back. The woman collapsed to her knees and buried her face in her hands. I wanted to comfort her, but what could I say? Sorry doesn't fix everything. And then I noticed the rocking horse moving by itself. The woman looked up, startled. "That's my fault," she whispered. "I never should have wished for endless grief." Suddenly, the grandfather clock chimed once, twice, 3 times. Its hands began moving once more. The woman froze, her eyes wide with fear. "Please, child, stop that clock. I don't want time to pass. I want to stay here." "Don't you think it's cruel to deny yourself the chance to move on?" I asked. She shook her head vigorously. "No, I don't want to move on. My mother stayed here for me. I'll stay here for her." But then she stopped rocking. "Are you sure you're making the right decision?" I asked. "You might be better off letting time pass. Maybe it's time to move on." The woman remained silent for a moment. "Move on," she whispered. "Yes, that's right. I must move on for my mother's sake. Thank you for helping me, child. Now please leave. I need some time alone." I bowed my head and backed toward the door. As I left the nursery, I heard the woman call out, "Wait, child, where are you going?" I turned around. "Come back here. Don't leave me." I rushed back to the nursery and knelt down beside her. I hugged her tightly. "You don't have to be afraid anymore. Time is passing again. You're not alone." I felt her whole body shaking. Was she crying? I pulled away to look at her face, but the candle had burned down and the room was plunged into darkness. I couldn't see her, but I could hear her. "Haha, you foolish child. Do you truly believe you can defeat me? You haven't stopped the flow of time. You merely sped it up." Before I could respond, she vanished. The grandfather clock chimed again. This time it chimed 13 times. Each chime echoed through the house, growing louder and more intense until they culminated in a deafening roar. Then everything went silent. I looked back at the nursery door, but it was gone. In its place was a solid stone wall. I touched it and gasped. It was freezing cold. I tried to find another way out of the house, but every door and window had vanished, leaving only cold stone walls in their place. What did I do? I cried out, terrified. I wandered around the house until I came across the fireplace in the living room. I remembered the woman crushing the matchstick. What if I lit a new one? I found some dry twigs outside and brought them inside. I placed them in the fireplace and struck a match. Then I tossed it into the hearth and watched as the flames spread and grew. As soon as the fire caught, the walls around me began to melt away, revealing the faces of the woman's parents staring at me with accusing eyes. Then they were replaced by the face of the old woman, except she looked much younger. She smiled warmly at me. "Thank you, child. By starting the clocks once more, you've given me my life back. Now I must go. The townspeople will be looking for me." She turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and one more thing." As she vanished, I heard her say, "Don't forget, time heals all wounds." Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Every story leaves a quiet echo, and I'm grateful you listened. Until the next one.